You sit down to do the one thing that actually matters today. You know it matters. You even want it finished. And yet, your hand drifts to your phone or opens a new tab, or suddenly decides that right now is the perfect moment to wipe down your desk. 10 minutes pass, then an hour. The task just sits there, untouched, getting quietly heavier. And here is the cruel twist. The more something matters, the harder it is to begin. The big, important things are often the very ones you flee from first. So here's the strange part. You're not stupid. You're not even unwilling. You genuinely want this thing done. So why does some quiet part of you keep steering you away from it? Why would your own mind sabotage the things you care about most? Most people already have an answer. They'll tell you it's laziness, a lack of discipline, a willpower problem. And the fix, supposedly, is obvious. Just try harder. Make a schedule. Force yourself. For a long time, that was the serious theory, too. Procrastination was treated as a failure of self-control, a weak willpower muscle that simply runs out of strength halfway through the day. So the advice was always the same. Push harder. Grind it out. But you've tried that. We all have. And somehow, the tighter you grip, the more the task slips through your fingers. If this were really about willpower, the most disciplined people alive would never put anything off. They do, all the time. The straight-A student, the elite athlete, the disciplined surgeon, every one of them has stared at something important and chosen, just for a moment, to look away. So maybe we've been staring at the wrong thing entirely. Here is the idea that quietly changed how researchers see this. A psychologist named Tim Pitchell at Carleton University spent years watching procrastinators up close, and he landed on a single sentence that turns the whole problem inside out. Procrastination, he says, is not a time management problem. It is an emotion management problem. Read that again. It is not about time. It is about how you feel. Think about the exact moment you avoid something. What is actually there in that instant? Almost always, something uncomfortable. The task is boring, or confusing, or hard, or maybe you don't even know where to begin, and that fog of not knowing is its own quiet kind of dread. Or worst of all, it threatens you. Because what if you try your absolute best, and it still isn't good enough? That discomfort is the real trigger. It is small, and it is fast, and you barely notice it, but your brain notices, and your brain, which hates feeling bad right now, does the most natural thing in the world. It hunts for the quickest way to feel better, and avoiding the task works instantly. The relief is immediate. The little knot of dread loosens. For one sweet moment, you feel lighter, freer, fine. Pitchell, working with a researcher named Fuchsia Sirois, gave this a name. They call it short-term mood repair. You are not managing your time badly at all. You are managing your mood, choosing to feel good now instead of bad now. The task never really moved. Your feelings did. You can see it everywhere once you know what to look for. The email you've reread 5 times but never sent. The workout you keep sliding to tomorrow. The hard conversation you would rather not have. Different tasks, but the same hidden move underneath. Each one carrying a small sting you'd rather not feel right now. So procrastination is not laziness. Look closely, and it is almost the opposite. It is a tiny, clever act of emotional self-rescue. But every rescue has a price. So tell me, who actually pays it? The answer is uncomfortable. The one who pays is future you. And here is where it gets genuinely strange. A researcher named Hal Hirschfield, now at UCLA, scanned people's brains while they thought about themselves. Then he asked them to think about their future self, the version of them years down the road. You would expect the brain to treat both as simply me. It doesn't. When people pictured their future self, the brain lit up almost the same way it does when thinking about a total stranger. Sit with that for a second. On some deep, wordless level, future you does not quite feel like you. It feels like someone else, someone you have never actually met.
So when you procrastinate, look at the trade you are really making. Present you grabs the relief, today, for free. And the bill? The stress, the panic, the rush, the midnight scramble. All of it gets quietly handed to a stranger who happens to be wearing your face. And it is so easy to dump work on a stranger. That is exactly why it feels so painless in the moment. You are not the one who pays. He is. But here is the catch nobody mentions. Tomorrow, when that stranger quietly becomes you, the relief will be long gone, and only the work will be left waiting. There is also a loop hiding in here, and it tightens every time. Each time you escape a task and feel that warm rush of relief,
Your brain takes careful notes. Escaping felt good. So the next time that task appears, the pull to look away is just a little stronger. Slowly, one escape at a time, you are training yourself to flee. It becomes a quiet habit, stitched together from thousands of tiny reliefs you never once decided to learn. Now, if you are feeling a little exposed right about now, good. Because here is something you really need to hear. You are not broken, and you are very, very far from alone. A researcher named Joseph Ferrari at DePaul University has found that roughly 1 in 5 adults, about 20% of us, are chronic procrastinators. Not the occasional kind, the constant kind. And among college students, Piers Steele, who wrote a book called The Procrastination Equation, reviewed decades of research and found something almost funny. Somewhere between 80 and 95% of them procrastinate. So this is not your personal defect. This is close to standard-issue human equipment. Steele's work also points at why it happens to all of us. The reward for doing the task is usually far away and uncertain. A grade next month, a healthier body next year, a finished project someday. But the discomfort? That is right here, right now, pressing on you. Your brain quietly weighs near and certain against far and fuzzy. And near almost always wins. It is not a character flaw. It is just the math your brain has been running since long before you were born. So now you can finally see why the usual advice keeps failing you. If procrastination is really about feelings, then willpower is simply the wrong tool. You cannot outmuscle an emotion by gritting your teeth harder at it. That is like trying to win an argument by holding your breath. But there is something far better you can do. You can lower the friction. Start by shrinking the task until it stops feeling like a threat. Don't sit down to write the report. Sit down to open the document and type one single, ugly sentence. That is so small, your brain doesn't even flinch at it. And once you have started, staying in motion is shockingly easy. The dread was almost always about beginning, not about doing. Cross the starting line, and the monster shrinks. Then make the very next move concrete. Not, I'll get to it later, but I'll do it at 9 o'clock, at my kitchen table. A when and a where. You decide it now, calmly, so that future you doesn't have to wrestle the feeling all over again, alone. And here is the gentlest move of all, and it is backed by real research. Pitchell's group studied students who had procrastinated before an exam. The ones who simply forgave themselves for it went on to procrastinate less before the next exam. Think about how strange that is. The guilt you pile on yourself is just more bad feeling. And more bad feeling is exactly the fuel that avoidance runs on. Let the guilt go, and you quietly remove the very thing you were running from. So let's go back to where we started. You are at your desk. The task is still sitting there. The tab is still open. But now you know what is really happening underneath. It was never laziness. It was never some broken, lazy flaw in your character. It was just your brain, doing exactly what brains are built to do, reaching for a small, warm hit of relief, and quietly passing the cost to a stranger. And the next time you feel that familiar little pull to look away, you will recognize it for what it actually is. Not a flaw, a feeling. One small, fixable feeling. The same one you have been answering the same way your entire life, and never once, until right now, saw clearly.